benefic Mercury, which is again good. Jupiter is also the fifth lord and aspects both the ninth lord, Mars in the fifth house and Rahu in the ninth house. In the Navansha, the ninth lord Jupiter is exalted. Rahu is with a benefic. Venus in the 11th house of elevation. The positional relation between Rahu and Jupiter is 1-9. In the birth horoscope, if you see, from Rahu, Jupiter is in the 5th house. From Jupiter, Rahu is in the 9th house. Right? Trinal relationship. And in Navansha, 1-11. And from Jupiter, 1 and 3. In Rahu, Jupiter, his father, has elevated to a very high position. I will take up the last one, or I will not take it up. You may read it yourself, mental tension. When Rahu causes mental tension. Then please go to page 38. Now page 38, this analysis given here, detailed treatment as given in Mansagri 1, Mahadasha and Antardasha for Rahu. Then page 41 from Sarvartha Chintamani, page 4, table 4 again Sarvartha Chintamani, table 5 Phaladipika, Rahu in the 10th and male children, page 45, exception when benefics save. Table 6, page 46, Phaladipika. Table 7, table 3, the Phaladipika. Table 8 at page 48, again Phaladipika. Table 9, principles of Uttarakala Amrita. Page 50, bird's eye view of exaltation, etc. Now, the most brilliant in-depth analysis comes from page 52 onwards. Most of the people do not know how to interpret a Mahadasha in Vinshottari. They say they have read Parashara, but they do not apply 1% of Parashara's principle of interpretation. Surprisingly, some people came to me in India from USA. They looked at this form of horoscope. They said this is Western horoscope, not Indian horoscope. Then some people came and gave me an argument. They said Gemini astrology which you are doing is not Parashari. Here in Fairfield also people told me that last time. I said, have you read Parashara? Right, in Parashara there are 4 chapters dealing with Gemini. If you say Gemini astrology is not Parashari, then what you are doing is also not Parashari. Gemini principles are contained in Parashari itself, Parashara, but Gemini took them as a separate branch and elaborated them much more. Now, 9-fold approach to the interpretation of a Mahadasha. See the scheme here in this book. See the sheer brilliance of this analysis. In no book of astrology anywhere in the world you will find this fine consolidation in a tabular way, giving you a 9-fold approach to the analysis of Mahadasha. This is how Parashara wants you to interpret a Dasha. So how Rahu we believe? Complete with this 9-fold Rahu Jupiter, Rahu Saturn, Rahu Ketu. You are asking a question about Rahu Ketu, the answer is here. When it is good, when it is bad. Rahu Sun, Rahu Moon, Rahu Mars. Then go to page 66. How to analyze the sub-periods of Rahu in the major periods of other planets. 5-fold approach. In other words, the 9-fold approach of the Mahadasha and 5-fold approach of the Antardasha. In interpreting this, you are making a 14-fold analysis. Sun Rahu. Moon Rahu, Mars Rahu, Jupiter Rahu, Saturn Rahu period, the need for caution. Page 71. Mercury Rahu, Ketu Rahu. Up to page 70, Venus Rahu. Up to page 76, we have given you a very condensed analysis of the classics from as many as 8 books. When I was telling you yesterday, you cannot get a better book than this. This man took 2 years to do the whole thing. A brilliant researcher, very brilliant researcher. In that book, Advanced Techniques of Astrological Prediction, there is one contribution made by him which I edited in 1991. Shivraj Sharma, the other book, Advanced Techniques. There is one paper by him on marital discord. You know what is marital discord? That is in MARITAL. Marital discord. You know the meaning? Yes. Marital discord is also relationship discord. Right? Same principle will apply. MARS Mars, MARITAL, MARTIAL. What is the difference? You shift the I and the meaning undergoes a change. Right? MARITAL, MARTIAL. Just one shifting of the I. So in MARITAL life can become MARTIAL life. So much quarrel can take place. When does it happen? When do you have the peak of tension in your relationship, problems and marriage? When? See this brilliant paper by Shivraj Sharma in about 20 pages in that book, Advanced Techniques. This very author, in 91 he wrote there. I edited that paper. It will never go wrong in a single case. Whenever you are having that peak of tension in your relationship problem, take these formulas given by Shivraj Sharma and I applied straight away, you find an answer. I tested them on at least 200 American horoscopes. When persons came to me looking at it, I said, are you having this tension? They said, yes. They said, what is the way out? I said, drink cold water. Till the dasha is over, keep on drinking cold water. If you like Coca-Cola, drink it. Okay. There is no solution. So that is why finally there is no substitute for jnana, divine wisdom. You do any amount of astrology, you cannot solve anyone's problem. No psychiatrist can solve the problem. No one. So intelligently you say, all right, this is not a favorable period, let me lie low. That's all. That is intelligence. Keep on doing other good activities, but you say, no, this is not a very favorable time for relationships. Okay. But what is favorable in one direction can be highly favorable in the other direction. Remember that. There is always the balance of nature. So counseling means what? Counseling means, my dear sir, don't concentrate in this area. This is the time for you to put your energy in this area. That's all. Counseling means this. That is what most of the people don't do. They will say, do this grahashanti, that grahashanti, do this yajna and that yajna, nothing happens. Your $200 to $2,000 go away, nothing more. And when the bad period is over, the problem gets solved all by itself. So intelligently, if you know how to suffer, you know how to live happily. That's all. If you are not prepared to suffer intelligently, no astrologer in the world can help you. No yogi can help you. No guru can help you. Therefore, positively think of the area in which you are going to achieve something, the area in which there is going to be deficiency. Your destiny is not in your hands. If you think it is in your hands, you are mistaken. Within that orbit of destiny, you can do your karma, not outside the orbit of destiny. If there was no such thing as destiny, how can I look into your horoscope and ask you some questions? How? The predestined had happened, therefore I asked you. Yes?
I find a lot of times when I've done some astrology with people, they go into a Rahu period, and everything they try to do that a Rahu is associated with, it's sort of like an illusion. They make mistakes. And so I oftentimes advise them to get some kind of outside counseling and advice from somebody that's much better to rely on rather than themselves, because they're sort of like under the spell of Rahu. The only trick is they may misevaluate who to get for advice. If
Yes.
they get the right person, great.
Yes.
But being under the spell of Rahu, they may pick the wrong person and follow the wrong advice. But if they follow the right advice, I find oftentimes it really helps them, because sometimes you can't rely on yourself if you're under the spell of Rahu. Is that a correct assessment?
Well, anyway, but I'll talk about the more positive side of Rahu tomorrow to you. More positive side of Rahu, where you can take Rahu and give career guidance to people properly. Now, before I stop, I will ask Matthias to read out his horoscope.
Lagna rising is Sagittarius. Second house, Capricorn, has Moon, Rahu, and Mars. Moon and Rahu are so close that they are together in all the divisional charts. In the sixth house is Saturn. In the eighth house is Ketu, of course. In the 10th house is Sun, Mercury, and Venus in Virgo. And in the first house is Jupiter.
Okay. You remember when you came to me, I asked you, are you an engineer or a scientist? Right? Why? Your fifth lord is Mars exalted with Rahu in the second house. Straight, simple. I have given you examples here. Don't take the fourth house for education, you will be misled. That one given in Dr. Raman's book is all wrong. Fifth house, fifth house, fifth house. You came to me, straight away I asked you, are you in a technical education? Rahu and Mars together. Exalted Mars, the fifth lord. So straight away you can see he has had a brilliant educational career.
I'm wondering, you just spoke about Rahu and mental tension.
Huh.
3 examples. And in these examples, Moon and Rahu and Mars and Saturn play a role. So, would you predict that in my case also, or?
I'll predict that in your case, at some stage in your life, you will be tossing up between 2 or 3 types of decisions. That is bound to happen. So that creates a mental tension. But you will overcome it. Why you will overcome it is, exalted Mars, Shubham Phalam Purnam. Parashara says, planets which generally give you good results in their dashas or antardashas are 3. The Lagna Lord, the 10th Lord, and an exalted planet. If an exalted Mars is there, that has to save the situation. Right? So the tension will of course come. At the same time it shows, this combination in horoscope shows that you originally started in one line of education, then made a deviation and went into other line.
Yes, yes.
Is that correct or not?
Yes,
Okay.
I focused first on physics.
Pardon?
First I started with physics,
Oh,
and then I went to computer science.
right. Is the degree of your Mars less than 10?
No, it's 20 degrees.
20 degrees. Moon's nakshatra.
22 degrees. 22.
Moon's nakshatra.
Yes.
The- Yes. Then all the more you have to change more. Okay. Your 10th house is beautiful. Your 10th house is very good. All your life, remember that Matthias I am telling you. You will be very famous and a brilliant man someday. I know. Last time when I saw your horoscope, I liked it. You will be famous and a brilliant man. And you will do something very creative. So keep doing it. So we can stop here. Rahu is completely over her now.
It's not significant in this chart that the Lord of the Ascendant goes into the 12th house.
It is significant in the chart that the Lord of Ascendant goes into the 12th house. There comes in my modern research. He has gone to Guru's ashram in a pilgrimage and in a foreign country. Simple. And he will go on many pilgrimages in his life. You will see that. He is a spiritual person. He is a spiritual person. Moon in the house of Saturn with Mars is Sannyas Yoga. Moon in the house of Mars aspected by Saturn is Sannyas Yoga. Simple. So inside himself he has that detachment. Outwardly he is a very active, brilliant man. So you have to combine both in life. And inwardly he will keep on growing spiritually. But don't be in a hurry. If you are in a hurry, I will give you more Korean pills. Because my hostess is a Korean. You know that. So she keeps supplying, enough is there. You will distribute the illumination pills?
I have a chart here of my daughter who's in Rahu Dasa.
Please read out the horoscope.
Her rising sign is Taurus at 0 degrees,
Okay.
0:59, with Ketu and Mercury
In the Lagna.
in the Lagna.
Okay.
Mars and Saturn in the second.
Mars and
Saturn.
Saturn in the second. Okay.
And Rahu in the seventh
Yes.
in Scorpio. And then
Jupiter in the 8th or 9th. 10th, okay.
Moon in the ninth in Capricorn.
Moon in the 9th in
Capricorn.
Capricorn.
Jupiter in Aquarius in the 10th.
Bhatta 74.
74.
Go ahead.
Venus exalted in the 11th. Surya exalted in the 12th.
Taurus ascendant with Ketu and
Mercury.
Mercury. Second house, no planet. Saturn.
And Mars.
Saturn and Mars. It's okay. Read out. Second house, Saturn and Mars.
Then Rahu, Jupiter.
Read out the degrees.
K2 is 26 degrees. The Lagna is 0. Surya 27 degrees. Chandra 6. Mongol 19. With Shani at 8 degrees. And Guru is 19.
Mercury,
And Mercury is 7. And Venus is 14.
Navansha? Navansha?
Capricorn rising. Moon and Rahu in Aquarius in the second house. Buddhi, Guru, and Mongol in Pisces in the third house. Ketu in the 8th. Shukra in the 11th in Scorpio. And Saturn and Sun in Sagittarius in the 12th.
What in the 12th? Saturn?
And Surya.
Saturn and?
Sun.
She started with an art education, then slightly went into science later, or what? Okay? Is she going into a...
Switching back to art now. She's out.
Yes. Tossing between science and art, but she can do well in both.
She was in her Mars period. She was a genius in mathematics. She's 21. So in Mars period, she accelerated in mathematics.
Yes.
Never showed any interest in art, but had a natural ability.
But she is a versatile girl.
Yeah. She switches between being an Aries and a Taurus.
It's okay. Now it is in this type of horoscope that they need very good career guidance, which no psychologist can give you. No psychologist can give you. Psychologist will take 2 hours, get all the information from you, and advise you and take your money. Nothing more. In astrology, if you work on this problem in USA, you will do great contribution, because you have varieties of education in USA. The moment I look at it, I know she is tossing between arts and science, and she is good at both.
I'm concerned about the Rahu in the partnership in the 7th house, debilicated.
It doesn't matter.
Its association with
Aspected by Mercury, the 5th lord. I have given you examples. Brilliant education. Why are you worried?
what about its association with Mars? I was reading here.
Yes, association with Mars, the 7th lord. Not 7th. Mars is in 2nd house, not associated with Rahu. And Saturn is in the 2nd house with Mars. If your daughter marries and goes outside USA or goes to a long distance place, don't be surprised. Right?
Right.
Then this horoscope also shows that you have property of your own. Right? You have. And that property is on a slight elevation.
Some would not say that.
Pardon?
Some would not say that.
Pardon?
You mean an elevation on a hill?
It need not be on a hill. It is not down below. It is slightly better off, one. And somewhere behind that there is good vegetation. Behind your house there is good vegetation. Or she will live in a house. Huh?
Sometimes. Not
So-
the property I own now. Not yet. I get quite a load of chips.
Pardon?
I'm trying to build the soil there. Yeah, it used to be a parking lot. I'm trying to build the soil.
What is the dasha she is passing through now?
Me,
She.
Rahu, Guru.
Rahu Guru. Very good. Guru in the 10th house, will be followed by Saturn in the 10th lord, and will be followed by Mercury, the 5th lord, in the Lagna aspect in the 7th house.
Did she get married soon?
Well, she is already in relationship with someone now, right?
Yeah.
And that relationship is, what is your background? The background is not the same.
No.
The background of the boy she is in relationship with is not the same. There is a difference. Right? Okay? Now read out the Navansha again. Navansha.
Capricorn rising, Chandra, Rahu in the 2nd, Buddha, Guru, Mongol in the 3rd, Ketu in the 8th, Shukra in the 11th, Shani and Surya in the 12th.
Relationship she has with the boy is almost of the same age, or the boy could even be younger.
No.
Same age,
Year older.
right? Almost the same age. It may not even be 1 year, it can be few months. It's a good horoscope, very good horoscope.
What about her longevity?
Why are you worried about longevity? Jupiter in the 10th house, Kendra Trikona, keep on stressing. Mercury in the ascendant, Jupiter in the 10th house, two benefics guarding. Right?
What about his longevity?
Who?
She has 2 boyfriends that she dated in high school that were both dead before she was 18.
Well, now you people help me. I want to learn, now you help me. I was talking to, when Americans come, generally they talk about relationship. Americans, when they come to consult you, every third question comes back to relationship. Normal. Somehow. Now one person came and told me, I asked him. He said, yes, I had no major girlfriend during this period. Now I started thinking, what is a major girlfriend and what is a minor girlfriend? How do I distinguish?
Major girlfriend lasts 6 months or longer. Minor is maybe 1 or 2 weeks.
He's right.
He right.
I think major girlfriend you move into. Minor girlfriend you move into.
She's also right.
Huh?
She's also
Major girlfriend?
You move in with. Minor girlfriend
You live
move in
together.
with.
No. How do you distinguish between marriage, relationship and dating?
No.
Oh,
Then
Go for it.
if you say major girlfriend you live with, then it will become relationship.
Yeah, I think a major girlfriend is a relationship.
I don't know. You'll quarrel among yourself if I begin to... But tell me, what is the difference between a major girlfriend and a minor girlfriend?
I said.
I want to know for my education.
I think probably a major girlfriend you feel more close to, like you spend a lot of time with. A minor person is maybe just have some fun with them and their friends, but not so, more casual maybe. Don't click as much.
Yeah, that also appealed to me, what you say. What you say, when you say major girlfriend, perhaps you have a longer relation, 5, 6, 7 months, 8 months, 1 year, 2 years
I want
perhaps.
grandchildren. That's what I want.
Pardon?
I want grandchildren. I don't want to fool around.
How about the heart is more involved in the major?
Pardon?
The heart's more involved in the major.
Firmer.
But you have to now in America work on the third aspect also, the non-existent girlfriend. There are times when you have dry spells. Right? Then there is a non-existent girlfriend or a non-existent boyfriend. That is also a problem in USA. You have to work on it.
Americans are always in relationships.
Pardon?
You're saying Americans are always in relationships in one way or another.
Yes. The reason is, in USA, marriage is becoming slowly unpopular.
No, I don't think so. I think they keep getting married.
50% first marriages end in divorce minimum. First marriages. The latest statistics I had seen at Boston, it was crossing 60% now. So some people asked me, I said, look here, there is one person who used to get drunk every day and come home. And he always used to have quarrel with his wife. Then he gave up drinking for some days, or stopped it, not to have quarrel with his wife. But some days after he again came home, he was drunk. The wife looked at him. He said, I couldn't help it, there is a big competition in the club today, who could drink more, so I had to participate. Then the wife asked him, who won the second prize? Understand the meaning? Who won the second prize? You must have won the first prize. Similarly, in USA, see the success of the second marriage if you want to advise people. In very few cases, the first marriage is a big success. You have to work on this problem for your own country, for proper counseling. 70% cases I have seen in USA, first marriage has not been a success. 70% cases I have seen. In Boston, I saw these figures. First marriage, divorce rate 60%. So what happened? I asked an American lady. She answered, the first marriage is for experiment, second marriage is for marriage. So I don't know. That is a problem. One. Second,
Depends on the religion too, because Catholic people
oh yes, Catholic people.
divorce far less.
No, they
not
just wait
much.
till they have get it annulled.
Pardon?
She's sort of kidding.
No, I'm not.
Annulment. There's such a thing, but the truth is that divorce and separation is far rarer among Catholics.
Yes, you are right. Catholics and Mormons.
Jewish too. Jewish as well.
And Jewish. Well, I don't know.
No, I've read about that. They do. They divorce much less.
Much less.
So I think we can call it a day here. Tomorrow I'll give you some positive and rarer sides of Rahu and conclude. Right? Thank you. Now we come today to some of the very original researches about Rahu. It is necessary to remember always that all planets have three functions to fulfill. The Brahma function, the Vishnu function, and the Maheshwara function. You have always to remember that Rahu is the snake. The original significations given to different planets, what are known as the Karakatva, must be kept in the mind to see to what extent Rahu affects them. For instance, in the Indian context or in the Asian context, where a marriage is a sacrament to be followed by the birth of children immediately after marriage. You may not know, in India even today, highly well educated girls, highly well placed, begin to suffer from something like a social stigma or a family criticism if within 2 or 3 years of marriage they don't become mothers. Then they begin to wonder what is wrong with the couple. In the traditional society that India is, mostly it is the woman who gets all the blame. And when she gets all the blame, men like me come to their rescue. There have been many occasions in India when some years after marriage, when a married woman did not become a mother, everyone started blaming the girl very unintelligently. Then there are ways of looking at a horoscope to find out between the male and the female who is deficient as far as the childbirth is concerned. Some of these points I have discussed in my book Planets in Children, on the basis of which very successful predictions have been made, even in USA, by some of these people. Penny and Mark Bonney in San Diego gave a very good prediction to a woman who for many years after marriage had no child. He gave a prediction and said with some trepidation that he was only making use of a research of an Indian astrologer called K.N. Rao. And when the child was born within the indicated period, they were overjoyed, and Mark Bonney won a fine reputation in San Diego. He told me later when he met me at San Rafael. Similarly, in 1993, I think, November, when I was sitting in the Embassy Suites Hotel, Mary Ann Cook, one of her intimate friends, showed me a horoscope. For many years that high executive and his wife had no child. Doctors in USA were not able to find out any reason. Medically, the couple was all right. But why were there no children? Now, when she prepared and showed me the horoscope, Mary Ann Cook, it took me no time to see and say, well, they would be having a child very soon in less than 1 year. And next year when I came, in a class I was taking, you remember, you were in that class, Mary Ann Cook came right to the mic in the class and said, at one glance, Mr. Rao had seen the horoscope and predicted the birth of a child, and the child was born within the predicted period. Therefore, in any horoscope, when two tendencies are to be examined, one, the respect for ideals, and also the possibility of a childbirth. What you must examine is Jupiter. Whether in the male horoscope or the female horoscope. Now some interesting observations I gave to Shivraj Sharma, and he worked on it. He worked on hundreds of horoscopes, but I asked him to limit himself to only 3 or 4 examples in the book, because it was not going to be a book only on childbirth, but Rahu afflicting Jupiter, how it affects childbirth, is a significant point to be seen. Not merely that, Rahu afflicting a weak Jupiter, how it affects the sex of the child to be born. These are 2 very important points. If we work more and more on these problems, it would be very easy for us to predict exactly the time and the sex of the child to be born. But you brought it from the home. You brought it from your house.
Yeah.
You could as well sit there on the sofa.
I can't see you.
Oh God.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Is seeing me more important or hearing me?
The chart.
Okay.
But you're right.
So, Rahu and Jupiter combinations are to be examined from 2 angles. One, what is known as Guru Chandala Yoga. Guru means a spiritual preceptor. Guru means the accepted tradition. Guru means the socially acceptable ideals. When Rahu comes under the grip of Jupiter comes under the grip of Rahu, an element of non-conformism comes into play. Now this non-conformism can be very destructive also, can be very creative also. So I will not ask you to jump to a conclusion straight away when you see Guru Chandal Yoga and draw only negative inference. But a Guru Chandal Yoga definitely shows the courage of a person to be a non-conformist. One.
Is that the union of...
I'm showing it. I will show you instances. First I am giving you a theoretical background. As I told you, all the books we produce from Delhi are illustrated. Unlike other books, there is no principle which will not be illustrated.
But what is it? Rahu's influence?
I am showing it. Wait a minute. Now, see this horoscope. Jupiter is in the third house aspected by Mars. And Jupiter is the fifth lord. Fifth lord of children. This is the horoscope of a very famous wise statesman of India. His name was C. Rajgopalachari. He had the wisdom to say as early as 1942 that Hindus and Muslims could never live together happily in India, and if Muslims demanded a separate state for themselves called Pakistan, it should be given to them. In 1942, neither Mahatma Gandhi nor Jawaharlal Nehru or any other leader for that matter could ever see the inevitability of whole thing. But he was such a wise man, he had the foresight. He said the relations between Hindus and Muslims had come to a boiling point, a point of no return. So he offended every Indian leader, including Mahatma Gandhi. Now, idealistic leader in India who was followed then was Mahatma Gandhi. The Jupiter's affliction, you see, the man had the courage to give unorthodox opinions, an opinion not acceptable to the nation. Everyone felt bad about it. But in 1946, there was such terrible communal riot in India in what was known as the Direct Action Day. It became clear that Muslims had to have a separate nation. And then people understood a little too late, 4 years after all that bloody carnage of 1946 and 47, that Muslims had to have a separate nation. So India was partitioned and Pakistan was formed. So this man had the courage of conviction to say that. There are many times when this man offended many people in India, but he proved wiser every time.
Did he do some translations of
Yes, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Valmiki Ramayana, all that.
little one?
Very one, beautifully done, very lucidly done. Bharati Vidya Bhavan has brought them out, Ramayana, Mahabharata, beautifully done, very good for understanding.
I'll tell you later.
Raja Gopalachari.
C. Rajgopalachari, very well done. If you want to understand that, I cannot recommend a better book than that. Man with absolutely lucid intelligence, extraordinary razor sharp intelligence. Any big leader of the world, when he visited India, he first met him, then started his tour. Because they could know that this man would give very mature, great ideas. But what I am showing you is Guru Chandala Yoga in this case, and Jupiter is weak, please remember. Jupiter is the fifth lord, please remember. And Jupiter is the natural significator for children, that also you should remember.
So no children.
Pardon?
He had no children.
He had daughters only. Now in the feminist movement of USA, if you quote it too much, you will get beaten as a male. They will not like it. A weak Jupiter, doubly afflicted, favors the birth of daughters more than sons. This is my finding, and Shivraj Sharma worked on it on hundreds of horoscopes. And he said this rule almost applied to 90 horoscopes. It's a very original finding, not given in any book. A weak Jupiter doubly afflicted. Now when I say doubly afflicted, please notice, Rahu is with Jupiter and is receiving the aspect of Mars.
You think that would make it real male?
Pardon?
You think that would be real masculine? So that he'd have only sons.
Pardon? Yes, you will think so, but it is not so.
Saturn, like
In the second horoscope, Jupiter is with Ketu aspected by Mars. Right? Again a double affliction. Here Mars is the fifth lord, not Jupiter. But the important point you must always remember in Vedic astrology is, the points of exaltation and the points of debilitation. In any astrological system, you have to see that. A planet advancing towards its point of debilitation is growing weaker. That is known as Avarohi. And a planet advancing towards its point of exaltation is Arohi. Now here Jupiter is advancing towards its points of debilitation in Capricorn. So though Jupiter is in a Mool Trikona Rashi Sagittarius, it has a double affliction. The result was, he married in 1916 and had a daughter in 1917. He was the first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. He had a daughter. When you judge by sex, she was a daughter, Indira Gandhi. But when you judge by her deeds, she was equal to 5,000 males. I told you, she was described in India as the only male in her cabinet.
No, that's her father's.
That's her father. Now, another important point is, when Margaret Thatcher, who was known as the Iron Woman, came to India, she tried her best to influence Indira Gandhi, she could not. Indian papers carried a beautiful joke and a cartoon. Between the two, who is a stronger iron lady? So this is only influencing the sex. That is a finding to be seen, tested more and more. But it is coming out very correct in 90% cases. A weak Jupiter doubly afflicted. The hypothesis here is a weak Jupiter doubly afflicted. The principle of the weakness of Jupiter or the weakness of the fifth lord is from Parashara. I keep stressing always the CRF approach, about which I have referred to in my book Ups and Downs in Career. Classical astrology is what you must always do first. C is classical. After taking that classical astrology, go to the R part, the romantic part. By romantic, what I mean is innovation. Innovate. Find out. Introduce modern concepts within the classical framework, not outside the classical framework. After that, to clinch it with what is known as the formula, CRF. Now, formula means, if you like, you may note down. It's not given in the book, but I'll dictate. It may be useful to you. In any horoscope, add the degrees of Jupiter, Mars and Moon in a female horoscope. By degrees I mean, suppose Jupiter is in Aries, so you will say 0, 1. I will give a hypothetical example here. So suppose Jupiter is 1, you will say 0 and 16 degrees, 0, 16 you write Jupiter. Then suppose Moon is in Taurus. You say Moon is 1 sign past 12 degrees, let us say. And Mars is in Gemini, 10 degrees, 2 past. So we take 8, 3, 0, 3 to 5, 6 signs past 8 degrees, which means Libra 8 degrees you get. Right? Is it clear?
Yeah.
You will get Libra 8 degrees. This is known as Kshetra Sphuta, or you can call, I have coined an English expression for it, that is the point of fertility in a woman. Right? Treat it as a planet in a horoscope. Now if it is Libra, how many degrees? 8 degrees. In Navansha it will go into Sagittarius, which means it is in the male sign, odd sign, and in Navansha also it goes into odd sign. In the case of a female, the fertility point should be in an even sign in the birth horoscope and in the Navansha, and should not be afflicted by Rahu, Saturn or Mars. In that case, it can lead either to childlessness or to very limited number of children. So you have taken Jupiter, Moon and Mars, right? In the case of the male, you will take Jupiter, Venus and Sun and do the same exercise again. No, Jupiter, Venus, Sun. Jupiter is the child giver, Venus is the semen, and Sun is the soul.
What is the soul?
S-O-U-L. In the case of the male, Jupiter, Venus, Sun. In the case of the female, Jupiter, Moon and Mars. I will divert a little and ask you a question. Why Moon and Mars?
Moon is fertility, right? Moon is fertility, Gem's rule, and Mars is blood.
Well, those of you who are married and have children would definitely know that when a woman conceives, her menstrual cycle stops, right? During that period, the menstrual cycle is caused by Moon and Mars. One could look into hundreds of horoscopes of women and 100 out of 100 times tell which will be the days of her menstrual cycle every month. Many times it would happen. My mother, whom I consider the greatest in both Prashna Kundli Prashna, that is horary, and also in female horoscopy, would do it in few seconds. So much of practice she had. Barely looking at the horoscope and quickly calculating, telling you. She, of course, discouraged me from going into this, and her argument was the typical argument of a Hindu mother. She said, when you have decided not to marry, why must you go into this area? Right? So she never allowed me to do much of female horoscopy. But I had to do female horoscopy few years before my retirement from government service for a simple reason. My colleagues in my department started telling me that my astrology was not of any use to them if I could not give predictions to them about their children. In a family-minded society like India, when a man has reached 50, he all the time begins to worry about his son and daughter. So while I had to concentrate, I tried to reconstruct some of the principles I had seen my mother using, though she had not taught them to me directly. Still I saw what she was doing, and once in a while I stole her papers. And when she told me why I had stolen, I said, as a son I had every right to steal the property of the mother. I did that in my book, Ups and Downs in Career and Planets in Children. The replicable techniques I have given to you, if you make use of, 90% times you will give correct predictions. And they are all my mother's researches. And I have written in one of the books a sentence. For me, my mother was Goddess Saraswati incarnate in my life. Very few human beings will have the luck of having such a mother as I had. Affection apart, the deep knowledge, interest in scriptures, and an insight into some of the most beautiful meanings of astrological combinations. And in a flash, you would just tell me like this. The Indian method of teaching is not what I am doing here with you, drawing the whole thing, showing you on a overhead projector, or as I do in Bharati Vidya Bhavan, drawing this on the board. The Indian method of teaching is you have to be mentally well prepared. And I just in a flash I say, have you seen the afflicted Bija's foot are there or not? Finish. If you have caught it, you have caught it. If you have not caught it, you will not learn. You are supposed to be so well prepared that one sentence from me should be able to highlight a vague area of a horoscope. My mother taught me only in that manner, one sentence or two sentences. It is not 1 or 2 or 6 hours lecture, no. But you have to be very well prepared. That is the Indian method of teaching. I changed the whole thing in India by introducing this faculty method of teaching. After I am dead and gone, if I would be remembered for this, introducing this style of teaching in the world, which never existed. Because I discovered that most of the people would not be able to learn astrology in the traditional manner anymore. And you in USA cannot learn it at all in a traditional manner except few of you, because you don't believe in mental calculations at all. In New York, I had gone with my friend to make some purchases in a store. He purchased 3 items of $40, $40, $40. Came to the counter, the sales girl was there, he put $120 there. The computer was out of order. Now she said, how do I know that you have calculated correctly? He said, either you calculate yourself or you at least believe me. She would neither allow us to go nor allow us to pay. So we had to stand there till someone brought a calculator. So that type of training which is given in USA can be a big handicap for astrology. So please do mental calculations always. If you don't do mental calculations, many times if a computer program is wrong, you will not know that you have been working on wrong data or horoscope. You all know James Braha very well. In July I told James Braha that in a particular program certain things were given wrongly. And he said, Mr. Rao, who uses this in USA? Even if it is wrong, it makes no difference to people. I said, look here, Braha, after 2 years people may use it. You have to have an accurate program. That program was presented to me here in one of my visits. I took back to India, started working on it, and I found it was very wrong. So you must do some mental calculations and manual calculations to check up whether the program you are relying upon is correct or not. I have not yet approved a single Ashtak Varga program of any computer anywhere in the world, including the Indian computer. On Ashtak Varga I did tremendously great researches because my mother had taught me. But in USA I always had this difficulty. Whenever I came I found the Ashtak Varga calculations given were wrong. Ashtak Varga is the one area where you cannot afford 1% error. It is 100% mathematical astrology. In the Dasha balance I can afford an error of some days or some months, but not in Ashtak Varga. Same is the problem in India. There is no single computer program which gives the Ashtak Varga correctly, up to the last stage. Coming back to this point, you can see the cycles of moon on your horoscope if you are a female and watch your own menstrual cycles very properly. It will never go wrong. And when a woman is about to conceive, you can see the role of Mars, which I have given in the planets in children. Mars acts twice, first in helping the conception, second time in helping the delivery of the child. Saturn, Jupiter have to act once at least. Mars has to act twice in the conception and delivery of the child. If you could work harder on this, you would be able to narrow down the day of the birth of the child. I have not done it. I generally limit myself to 3 to 7 days period and stop there. But if you are interested, if you could feed all this data into the computer, you would be able to narrow down the day. Before I was born, my mother had written in her diary, on a Monday morning, in the Hora of Jupiter, a son would be born to me. And I was born on a Monday morning in the Hora of Jupiter. The Kal Hora you know. Monday the first hour belongs to the moon. The second hour belongs to Saturn. The third hour belongs to Jupiter. So after sunrise, 2 hours after sunrise I was born. She could go down up to such a calculation. These are all traditional tricks of Indian astrologers, not given in any books. I have not learnt it from my mother, but those of you who are interested could do research in this area. Therefore, in a male horoscope in which Venus and Mercury are weak, you can easily see sexual deficiency. Like this you can keep on working. In telling of horoscopes, in India, all the old traditional astrologers always examine whether between the male and the female one of them is oversexed. Even if one is oversexed, the other is undersexed, it can lead to a lot of clash and difficulties in marriage. So these are the points to be examined there. In this case, you have seen, in the case of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Jupiter is advancing towards its point of debilitation, so therefore is weak. He is with Ketu and is aspected by Mars. The result was in 1916 he got married, in 1917 he had a daughter, then for days together, years together he didn't have another child. In 1924 another son was born to him, but he died within a week. So Jupiter's signification as a child giver, when it gets afflicts that particular area of a horoscope. The child giving propensities of a horoscope come under an eclipse. Rahu, the planet of eclipses, begins to eclipse this area as well. Yes.
Do you see it carry through in the emotions of Tantra chart of these individuals?
I will come to that. I am coming to that.